Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Wow, Bitcoin really took off. 61K last I looked, now at 64 and a half, wicking up twice to 65 even. So I'm thinking we're probably getting closer to our resistance shelf. Just to kind of throw it out there, we are pretty well overextended, even though we got a short period of consolidation here at about 65,000. We are absolutely shooting high here, right? So we probably only legitimately have another couple of hours worth of further upside. And then also got to keep in mind here in about an hour, hour and a half, we're going to be seeing the Asian markets open, and there is a ton of value here. And I think there's a strong chance we're going to see the price end up maybe pulling back at least a little bit. It may not be monumental, but the most recent resistance level here at about 61.7 could be the new support. All right, so just a friendly advice here. That's kind of what we're looking at. I would say 62 to 63K as a possible retracement period before the next leg up. I'll post our playout chart on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I'll update some Elliott wave as well, just to kind of give you perspective on what that looks like. And then also make sure we look at some liquidation levels too. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and refresh this bad boy and see kind of where we're at, because a lot has changed since we last looked at this here, folks. Okay, so we're going to see a lot of liquidation occurred between 62.5 and 63. That was expected. We can also see here that a lot of liquidation, about 1.5, 2 billion for a candle wick up to 65K. So a lot of folks were not expecting that to get swept, but it did. This is the exact reason why you never take profit, or sorry, you never set stop losses or actually take profit targets at round numbers. So hypothetically, 64.9 would have been a better take profit target than 65 even, because you may not have got in line for that fill, right? So the whole point is to avoid round numbers if possible, but either way, 65K has been double wicked there. So we got a double top, so to speak, on smaller time frames. We look at this here as well. This is a macro. There's still a lot of liquidation, quite a lot, from before and some recent at about 65.3, and then a range of 66.2 to 67. Again, I'll post this playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and kind of get you an update on what I'm looking at through our trade alert section on our premium group. But the simple way to understand it here is that we've swept a majority of the immediate liquidation, like these heavy concentrations are gone. So again, more potential for the price to pull back, but once more, we've seen stranger things, and the price is not looking back. So let's quickly look at a few things here. So when we look at this earlier, generally speaking, there has been a lot of bullish convergences. There's a lot of reasons why the price is more likely to go up than down. And I'm sure you're probably scratching your head. It's like, why do you have a short open still with Solana if that's the case? Well, the Solana wasn't really performing very well when we last looked at it. Now it's kind of shifted gears. Might not need to close that at a slight loss, or perhaps even hold on, depending on what we see here. I'm leaning a little bit more towards a potential short here to the 61 to 62, maybe 63K range, just because of overextension and a few other factors, which I'll describe here shortly. However, the important thing to recognize here is that we've broken bullish. There's no way around it. So if I do end up taking a short, it's going to be a fairly tight short with some, some profit targets that are not too lofty, right? We can't short to, 55,000 on a trade like this, right? It's just got too much mustard, too much steam, if you will, behind it. And I think the probability of a massive pullback is pretty low at this point. And, a continuation to the upside to retest that 67K resistance wall with that point of control and a few other factors are present, okay? Either way you look at it, money flow index is right there roughly with the RSI being up over 50. Stochastic, while it is maxed out, is still ranking up here and kind of showing us wants to continue higher. MACD with a strong convergence here. So more likelihood again of further upside. We're holding above, once again, that 61K range with the local point of control. We zoom out and that does change a little bit, but if we look at the more, averaged out, we have 63K as the secondary most amount of volume between 63 and 64. So that's our initial support range. But more importantly, 67K, as we've talked about previously, is that macro point of control. If the price continues higher up, we will probably see a distinct retracement at 67K. All right, so just kind of throwing it out there. That's the daily time frame. 4-hour time frame is still telling us here that we're up over 70 on the RSI. Generally, it's best practice to hold your long position open if you have one and wait for it to come back down before you secure profits. Just because it's broken through key level resistances, it could continue to run. I personally don't think it's going to go too much further, specifically just because we've got a pretty significant amount of profit on the day. And generally when that happens, a new market comes in and they start securing profit. We've also seen historically Fridays are either really green or really red, but they're followed by the inverse as soon as the candlestick closes. Okay, so my speculation here is, again, another hour or two, we'll see somewhat of a dump. I don't think it's going to be monumental, but it will be a pullback of some sorts because Asian markets are going to have some decent profit. Because you look at this 24 hours ago, what time was it? This is roughly, the price action was at 60,500 when Asia opened up last night. They're going to open up at 64.5. That's a pretty big chunk of change, right? They're going to be up about 6.5%, 7% on their investment if they had taken a long yesterday at that point. So keep that in mind. Again, a lot of volume here. All the more reason to be cautious and careful when you are taking a trade. We can update our fibs here, of course, but if it keeps running, it can be difficult to catch the appropriate pullbacks. But if we see here that 0.382 fib, that's kind of holding strong with the previous resistance. So my money is on 61.7, 61.6 being the new support level. And if the price does end up pulling back to that level, that'd be a solid consideration for a long. If we take a look at the hourly, we can recognize that the Ichimoku cloud is confirming on all factors here that we are good to go. No reason to consider taking a long position at this point, but also don't take a short, I guess you could say. Now, just kind of throw it out there. I'm leaning more towards taking a short just because of the overextension. Let me go ahead and show you here. We're at an 8 on TDS. We have a significant fair value gap between 61.7 and 62.7. I haven't looked at our futures yet. Well, of course, it hasn't closed yet, but I'll provide an update for that here soon. But once that does close, we do have a gap that could also get filled too. Either way you look at it here, there's a lot of value to the downside, so it would make sense for the price to pull back at least a little bit. But again, if it does continue to run, just be mindful. 67K should be that resistance shelf. Okay, so we shouldn't see anything much higher than that on this continuation if it does run, just say this weekend or later today. I'd be very surprised if Asia opens up and strong and keeps trying to go up. We're seeing these pretty large candle wicks here. That leads me to believe we're going to see somewhat of a turnaround. Let's see if we can double check our TPO, and today's point of control is 61,000 even. So again, a lot of reasons why we don't have a ton of volume in this current area, and there's less likelihood of sustaining this price action, especially leading into a weekend. So slow bleed out this weekend might be appropriate. Keep in mind, altcoins are doing pretty well, and Bitcoin dominance is on the rise. So that's an interesting little scenario that's very, very much a bullish sign. All the more reason to be cautious and careful when you take shorts. Again, if you do take a short on Bitcoin, tight margins, make sure you play your cards right, and maybe consider watching it close, or just in general, if you're going to take the trade, ensure you use low leverage, low position size. It's just not the kind of market to be using a lot of leverage. And I know some folks have caught some pretty good little candle wicks here and there, and if you're watching it close, it's a different story. But me personally, I like to set it and forget it, and in this case here, if you do that, ensure you're taking profits before it's too late. So here are the take profit targets. I would say 62.9, or sorry, more importantly, just a little over 63,000. Okay, again, not a round number, but right at 63K, 63.1. And then secondary to that, more egregious take profit target would be about 62K, or right just under there, maybe 61.7, 61.8. Okay, those are two fib levels as well as just areas of retracement here that make a lot of sense. Once again, I'll post a playout chart here on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you the next one. Take care.